So can we control artificial intelligence? We absolutely can, but we absolutely won't be able to. Now that sounds like an absolutely stupid answer, but I'm actually going to tell you how we can control artificial intelligence, but then I'm going to tell you why we absolutely can't control artificial intelligence. And it's not necessarily going to be for the reason that you actually think. Okay, so let's dig in. When we have a look at artificial intelligence and the debates surrounding it today, the fact of the matter is we've got two primary types of AI. We've got binary AI, so machine learning artificial intelligences, and we have neural networks, which use a system of weightings, a little bit like the neurons in the human brain, to take an input, do something in the middle, and then create an output. Now, when we have a look at trying to control traditional machine learning algorithms, that's very difficult because they're increasingly complex and everything else. However, if we were able to audit them, do A/B testing over and over and over again, we could, with some semblance of confidence, control the outcome, control what they do. However, when we actually have a look at neural networks, the fact is they're a black box. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So we've got a lot of companies at the moment that are trying to read the minds of these black boxes, what goes in, what happens in the middle, and then why they spit out the decisions and the outputs that they do. However, we've already seen artificial intelligences from OpenAI that spontaneously learned maths, from Meta that spontaneously learned to collaborate with one another, from Google that spontaneously learned and created new languages and then encrypted them. So when we have a look at the ability of us to read the minds of artificial intelligences, we've already got significant problems. But let's start moving beyond that. Let's get to some ideas on how we control AI and how we contain rogue AIs. Okay, so when we have a look at Sam Altman believes that one of the ways that we can actually create AIs that are only good is something called super alignment. Now, super alignment in his case really refers to creating artificial intelligences a little bit like Anthropic's Claude that have an internal constitution, as it's called. Now, what a constitution is it is a set of values, which can be a set of human-based values that we determine. And when the AI ingests information, then does something with it, before it spits the output out, it runs the output past this constitution. So, for example, is the output good? Is it ethical, moral? That kind of stuff. And if the output passes these constitution tests, you get the result. And the AI does whatever it's going to do. Now, that's one way to do it. So this super alignment really refers to creating an internal constitution-based system within an artificial intelligence model that is aligned with human values. Sounds good so far. Now, another way that we can control rogue AIs is we can actually create containment algorithms. And there really isn't much research in this space, which shows that when it comes to trying to control the behavior of AIs, the vast majority of multinational organizations are not doing it. They're just interested basically with the outcomes. Now, a containment algorithm is a little bit like a constitution, but it's outside of the artificial intelligence. So if an artificial intelligence takes data in, processes it, and then spits out an output, the containment algorithm is there to have a look at what the output is and say, this is good, so let it go. This is bad, let's hold it in. And if the artificial intelligence just starts to randomly evolve, starts to do random things, gains a conscience, becomes sentient, or decides that it doesn't just want to follow what its human masters say, then the containment algorithm is there essentially to act like a prison and literally contain it and prevent it from getting out into the wild, doing things that it shouldn't, having access to things that it shouldn't, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, the third way to control artificial intelligence really relies on this. Now, we've got a couple of different ways we can do it. Now, we can have humans trying to control AI. We can have humans and AI trying to control AI. But bearing in mind, artificial intelligence is able to evolve, do things at light speed. Having a human in the loop just doesn't really make sense to me. So this is where we could actually look at artificial intelligence regulating artificial intelligence behaviors. Now, this is where we can also start combining quantum computing. So when we get quantum artificial intelligence, QAI as it's known, we'll be able to very quickly understand and predict the risks that particular AIs pose in particular situations. Now, a quantum artificial intelligence can then act as a good cop. And in those situations, and there is an example of this, can start containing or suppressing or even terminating artificial intelligences and algorithms that are doing things they shouldn't. Now, an example of this is a piece of malware. About 3 years ago, we don't know who, but it was a programmer. A programmer somewhere on the planet created a piece of self-evolving, polymorphic malware and let it loose into the internet. And this piece of malware was really quite unique because it kind of just does its own thing. But in that particular case, it was designed to hunt out malware that was sitting on particular types of routers and just eliminate it. So it really was almost an internet-based immune system that was trying to hunt out bad malware and delete it. So we can still sort of apply the same construct to AI. Now, if we do have a good artificial intelligence that is looking out for bad artificial intelligences and trying to neutralize them, the next question comes, how do we determine good? And this is why we will never, ever be able to control AI. Because as Sam Altman talks about super alignment of AI with human values, whose human values do you use? Do you use mine? I like everyone. I think everyone should have a chance to express themselves, etc., etc. But then there are people who have the completely polar opposite view of me. You kind of get the idea now. If we were trying to create a super alignment model or constitution that a autonomous quantum artificial intelligence was able to run off, whose values would it actually use? When we have a look at China, even President Xi cannot control the entire Chinese population, and that's with all of the technology and all of the surveillance systems he has. And that is before we start crossing the boundary from slow humans to incredibly fast, incredibly rapidly evolving artificial intelligences. So that's how we can control AI. But that's also why we never will be able to control AI. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take it easy. Bye-bye. See you next time.